It's the 30th of October, and just final check-in on the garden for the year, I think. So most of everything has been cleared out by now. So all that's left here, we have some chives, which they can stay there. And then this bed was all the tomatoes. All the tomatoes have been picked, and any green ones are sitting out on trays, and they will slowly ripen over time, as they do. Coming down here, this is the fall peas. So they're cropping right now. So there's quite a bit of dusty mildew growing on there, but it doesn't affect the peas whatsoever. This variety, you don't eat the pods anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But they'll keep going for a while. We still have flowers that are popping up, so long as there's flowers, there's a chance for new peas. Jalapenos, I haven't pulled them yet. They're still producing a number of them, which is odd. They didn't really produce very well. I think it's just maybe they were just getting too much sun. I'm not too sure, but there's still a lot of jalapenos coming in there, and so we'll leave them for a while. Little red one down there, until the frost finally comes along and kills them. So we'll just leave them where they are. So down here we have the kale. Kale is doing all right. It's grows slow, but you know it grows. But a bit of bird damage, or maybe that's caterpillars. I'm not sure. Bit of something's in there chewing on it, but there's a lot of it, so that's fine. And the good thing with kale is you can freeze if you have too much of it. Kohlrabi, I'm probably not going to get anything out of this. This got devastated by caterpillars. Been really bad this year. I'll probably have to put covers on them. There's a lettuce that decided to sprout, and I'm just going to leave it alone. I'll put a jar over that, and maybe it'll last through the winter. We'll see. This is all the turnips. The turnips have been picked. For the most part, they've been eaten too. So they only got about, maybe the biggest one was 3 inches wide, but that's fine. I was only growing them just to take up the space. This is spring onions, and these will all come out today because I have soup that needs to be made. So bed up here, I had the green beans, and now this is marked out because there is garlic in here. I have 3 different varieties of garlic, and so that's what all the delineations are. So this chunk over here is reuse from last year, or from the garlic I grew this summer. So that'll grow slowly through the winter. I'll have to put down a lot of leaf mulch when I get to that point. All the compost from the garden has been spread on these beds. Down here, this was all tomatoes. The only thing that's left now is the leeks. They never really did get very big, but that's because I didn't thin them out. You can see they're growing in clumps of about 7 or 8, and I didn't bother to thin them out. But overall, you'll get a larger mass of leeks from this. Poor old Brussels sprouts have done terrible this year, mainly because they're packed too close. I didn't give them enough care. Caterpillars destroyed everything. And then what did grow, they're just tiny. They're barely the size of a thumbnail in there, so there's nothing worth talking about. So these are all going to get chopped down, and no Brussels sprouts. There's not even anything on this stalk. So just a waste of time this year, waste of space. And that's just strawberries that were kind of spread out, and I'll just leave them there, and in the spring I'll transplant them. And then all that's left on the back, we have some peppers, sweet peppers that are still growing. I did a pick earlier today, but these will, so long as they're still putting out flowers, and there are flowers on there. But once the frost comes through, wipe everything out, and that'll be that. And that's it for the garden. See you next year.